Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from all the team here at Oil and Gas World Magazine, Robbie Picard Media, and Oil Sands Strong. I just want to take a second and thank everybody who supported us this year. It has been an amazing year. I can't think about a more blessed year than we've had, and a year where we've managed to move the needle when it comes to humanizing the oil and gas industry. So January came in really fast, and I must give a shout out to my dear friend Steve Major. He arranged interviews with Brent Quinton and Brian Ham, and I got to take their perspective on the Canadian Energy Executives Association, and it was a phenomenal experience. Steve Major is a lawyer with Bennett Jones. He is an incredible guy with a ton of energy, and he fights passionately for the industry. And if you're his friend, you're definitely lucky because it's a privilege. In issue 5, we covered women in energy, and I got to interview some amazing ladies, and we talked about how there's some differences between the female approach on the energy industry and the female issues compared to the men issues, but at the end of the day, there's sort of like a yin and the yang, and two very important components as we grow and build the energy industry. You know, Janelle is a fascinating story to me because she's a business owner, and now she has an excellent role working with the Alberta Council out of Edmonton, and she is working with some of the biggest energy players there are and navigating them in succeeding and dealing with both either the provincial or the federal government. So it was definitely an interesting interview and a privilege to interview Janelle. Corinne is an example of a successful business person. Now, Royal LePage Benchmark is one of Alberta's most successful real estate brokerages, and whenever I get a chance to pick her brain on business and success, I definitely do it. One of my favorite videos that we did actually was when we went to Timmins, Ontario, and we took on that loser hypocrite, Charlie Angus. And he's the reason we have this stupid bill where we're all scared to speak our minds and talk about the success of the industry. So taking the bus to Timmins, Ontario, and realizing that Charlie Angus is full of it was probably the best thing that we did all year, and I really enjoyed that bus trip. That is one of the biggest mining fossil fuels communities I've ever seen in my life. So Charlie Angus, I'm so glad you're retiring. You were a disaster to this country, and I'm happy we could, prove what a hypocrite you are, and I was proud of that moment. So I've always been a fan of Brett Wilson. Brett Wilson, I consider him a dear friend now. He is what you call a beacon of tell it like it is, former Dragon's Den star. And I got the privilege of spending time in his office in Calgary for this issue of the magazine. He's made the magazine better. He's made me a better order and a communicator. So I love Brett Wilson, and both being at his garden party as well as having the privilege of interviewing him will be a memory that I take, for the rest of my life. Another highlight is the cover of this one here. ABO is my favorite band. Actually, our company started helping them, managing them now. Arguably the most talented musicians I've ever seen come out of Fort McMurray. I was very proud to put them on the cover of this issue. I like the fact that it's edgy, just an amazing talent. It also shows that the oil and gas industry is diverse, and there's a ton of different people with different perspectives, and it's not all necessarily about oil workers. It's about musicians and artists and talented people that all get their income directly or indirectly from our community. So in the new year, we're going to be working with them and getting them gigs across Canada and the United States. The other thing I'm really proud of this issue is it's just such a diverse issue. So I spoke at the Relive event in Calgary, and I interviewed Tamara Leach. We actually had our artist Danielle do a painting of the moment she was arrested during the truckers' convoy, and I love that moment. I think that will go down in history as a pinnacle moment of state overreach. In the latest issue with my friend Bernard General on the cover, I was very proud of this one as well because we were at a sort of a Chamber of Commerce of Olds Alberta event, and there was a bunch of Quebec business people, and it's all about building a country that works together. A lot of people in Alberta get pissed off that Quebec doesn't support pipelines and doesn't support our energy and has no problem taking our transfer payments, which help support their daycare. But it's not all of Quebec. A lot of people in Quebec recognize the importance of the oil and gas industry and want to build continuity and pipelines and commerce between both the places. So It's truly a privilege to have had time to spend with all these great people in this issue of the magazine. Devin Dreeshen, he's an amazing guy, the transportation minister for the province of Alberta, and interviewing him was fun. I really enjoyed spending time with him as well. I find that one of the things is that oil and gas is just such a diverse industry, and I like to think it's a new industry. It's not just an old industry, it's an industry that's evolving, and all of this so-called green energy crap can't happen unless you have a solid, strong foundation with oil and gas. If you like what we do and you're, like to be interviewed, I don't care what you do. So let me be blunt. If you own a multi-billion-dollar company and you want us to interview you, we will interview you. If you are working at Starbucks and you have an interesting story, we will interview you. In closing, once again, I'd like to thank everyone for supporting Oil and Gas World. We obviously are expanding, so if you want to advertise in our publication, please do. We want to grow. We want to continue the work. We have our clothing line. Click this link. Buy tons of clothes. Buy tons of hoodies. I promise one thing. When it comes to the new year, we are stepping up. We just hired some of the best people. We have a great team of people creating content, video editors. The marketing company, we do web design as well. We're well versed in a lot of things, but we need support. And so if you have a business and you want to sponsor us, we'd definitely like to talk. We will this year step up and advocate for our industry harder than we ever have before. So goodbye to 2024, and we are looking forward to an amazing 2025, a prosperous 2025 for all. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we wish you all the best.